there is one word, okay? And that one word, I'm not gonna make any big claims, but that one word does have the potential to more or less change your life, okay? And for me personally, it happened. When I heard this one word, I not just heard it, but like I understood it and obviously I implemented it, my life changed forever, okay? It's one word, it might sound crazy, I know. Literally one word is going to change the way you see everything, okay? And so, as soon as I say the word, don't just click off, because just knowing the word isn't going to do anything. You have to know what the word is, you have to understand it, and then you have to implement it, okay? And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do all three of those, okay? So I'm not going to waste any more of your time, let's get straight into it. So, what is this one word? I'm going to show you right now, okay? This one word is system. And you might think you know what system means. There's a very, very high chance you don't, okay? So I'm going to break it down for you right now. Systems are composed of a few things. We have a box here that goes into a triangle here. And some people will know what I'm talking about now. Another box here. And then come down here. Another box here. Goes this way. Feeds back to this box up here. Goes this way. And we have the sun right here, okay? And that's definitely going to look a bit weird for you, but let's break it down, okay? This is basically a simple system, or like a basic system, okay? Each part is one of these represents parts. So here we have inputs. So these are the raw materials that you put into a system. And here we have processes. So this is the transformation process where you turn inputs into over here, outputs, right? Processes are going to be the means by which you turn inputs into outputs, okay? And this is obviously probably the most important part, and I'll touch on this in just 1 second. And then down here, we have feedback. This is so dodgy. Feedback. And this is basically, we go inputs, processes, outputs, and from that process, we get feedback, and we use that feedback to iterate and improve the inputs to obviously get more of the outputs that we want. And then up here we have the environment. Okay, I'm just gonna write that environment, right? So all systems operate in environment, and environment isn't part of the system, but every system operates in an environment. Okay, so let's give you an example. Let's say you're making eggs. Okay, the inputs, the raw materials, is going to be your eggs. It's going to be like maybe your salt, your seasoning, all that type of stuff. That's your raw inputs. And then you have your processes. This is kind of like your cookbook. So like, what's the steps that you take to actually do it? And so that's going to be like, crack the eggs into a bowl, whisk a bowl of eggs, put them into the pan, like stir with spatula, put on seasoning, plate, everything like that. And then the outputs is basically just going to be like, your scrambled eggs. And then your feedback. So maybe you realize that, okay, this was a bit too salty, and the eggs weren't big enough. So you use the feedback to iterate and change your inputs. So this time you're going to get bigger eggs, and you're going to put in less salt. That's what this kind of whole chain looks like. And this thing here operates inside of the environment. Okay, and so the environment is for this system. The environment is your kitchen. Okay, it's the kitchen and it's the tools that you use. Okay, that's your environment. And so we can break down every single one of these in extreme detail. And if you want me to kind of go into a massive deep dive of this one word systems and explain inputs in great detail, processes in great detail, outputs in great detail, feedback in great detail, environment in great detail, I'll do that. Just comment and I'll make like a massive video on it, because this is really the most important thing. So if you do want to see that, just comment it right now and I'll do it right now. But I don't know that yet. So for now, I'm going to give you basically a deep dive in how you can do this in getting clients. So processes, this part here, this is so dodgy. Processes, okay, whatever. Processes there, that's obviously the main part, because that's what turns the inputs into the outputs. So let's look at processes, okay? So this is what it looks like, from a macro level. But then inside, so let's say this input is human in your niche, and this output is a client. So this is kind of like a client acquisition system, okay? So what's actually inside here? Well, in a macro system like this, where we have like a big processes, what is inside of this is subsystems. So things like this, okay? So we have like input, process, output, but then, so it goes here, here, and then this output becomes the next input. Okay, inputs, processes, outputs, and this output becomes the next input. Inputs, processes, outputs, right? And then obviously, it's going this way. The arrows are just kind of show you how which way the system's going. And this is what a subsystem looks like, okay? So let's just say that inputs, we have, human in niche, and then the output is going to be appointment, okay? So let's just look at an appointment booking system. And then, let's just look at this here, and then obviously we have the feedback, going this way, and it's in an environment, okay? So the environment, first of all, is the market. So the market is basically like the infrastructure, the systems, the latent conditions that are in the market between you and your party. So you and your niche, okay? That's the market. Inside of the environment, there's a bunch of elements. There's dynamic elements, there's static elements. I could go on about environments forever. If you want me to, as I said, just comment and I'll make a full video on that. This is what an appointment booking system looks like, right? Obviously, it probably looks a bit more fancy than this. This is a shit Micr drawing, but you get the picture, okay? So humans in niche, the output is an appointment. So what happens inside here? Well, in this subsystem, we have human, that's a H, human in your niche, and then it goes through processes, and they get attention. Human goes through processes, and then we get their attention. And then we go from getting their attention to getting their interest. So them becoming interest. And then we go from their interest in what we have, we go through processes to get I guess I'll just call A for appointment. And then obviously, so this kind of goes down to here, and then we go through this kind of subsystems, and then the output is getting an appointment. And so now we're kind of stuck with the same problem. What's actually happening inside of these processes? Like what's actually going on inside these triangles? Because ultimately, what's happening inside of these triangles is dictating everything, right? None of this would happen if we didn't have this big triangle, and none of this mini stuff would happen if we didn't have these mini triangles. So obviously, these processes are the most important part. So what actually happens? So I'll break it down right now. What we have in here are called Micr Chains. So Micr Chains. We have micro stimuli chains, and we have micro action chains. And this probably sounds a bit wishy-washy right now, but I'll break it down for you, okay? Micro stimuli chains, micro action chains. So first of all, micro stimuli chains. The first thing you need to understand is that stimuli is something like it's like a script. It's a piece of copy. The whole goal of a stimuli is to elicit an action. So for example, the thumbnail and the title of this video are stimuli, and the action that stimuli elicits is you clicking on this video. And then the first link in the description of this video is a stimuli, and the goal of that stimuli is to elicit the action of you like clicking the link and booking a call with me, right? And then if you go on the calendar page, there's like a bunch of stimuli in there, like the when do you want to schedule, the questions, and like the button to book the call. Those are all stimuli with the goal of you eliciting actions. Okay, so for example, let's take this YouTube video. We have the thumbnail, and the plus title. I don't know how to spell title. There we go. And so with this stimuli, it elicits these actions, which is click video. And so what I've just done with the thumbnail and the title of this video is the going from human in my niche, which is beginner agency owners. That's who I help. I work with beginner agency owners, and I help them hit every month. Human in my niche, so beginner agency owner, went through the processes, and this process is Micr Chains. So the process, a human in my niche went through the process of seeing my thumbnail and seeing my title, and they took the action, the micro action of clicking on the video. And so what that has done, it's turned them from a human in my niche to a human in my niche with attention. Like, I have their attention, okay? And then hopefully, fingers crossed, using this video, so when I have attention, it comes back up on here, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, using this video, I take your attention and turn it into interest in what I do, right? By giving you value. By giving you value, I create interest, right? And so this is this right here. And so if we look at this one, it's going to be like, it's going to be like the hook of the video. It's going to be plus, the meat of the video. So like right now, me giving you value. And then it's going to be the CTA. So at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you to like, comment, subscribe. And I'm going to tell you to click the first link in the description if you want to take a month, right? The goal of this stuff, the hook of the video, the meat giving you value, and the call to action is to make you interested in me and what I have to say, okay? And so obviously, this is trying to make you become interested. And so, this stuff, what I'm doing right now, it's trying to make you go from, I already have your attention, you're watching the video, so going from attention to interest, okay? And then obviously the processes of that is it's micro stimuli, micro action chains. And then now that I have your interest, what's next? Now I want to go from interest up here through processes for you to book an appointment, okay? And so I want you to book an appointment with me. That's my goal, okay? And so now after the video, I guess the CTA is the more in the booking, this is the booking appointment thing. So we have CTA plus desk. So like, the words that I have in the description, like it's like book a call to see if you're for the best one-to-one thing in the world, right? Description plus cal link. So I have like a Calendly link or I have like a funnel in my description. And then like plus this is some dodgy drawing. Plus Calendly like stuff, I guess you call it. So the stuff that's actually in Calendly, right? So if I go to Calendly and I go to the growth call, this is stimuli, right? We have stimuli here that's eliciting the action of clicking a time, and then clicking a time, and then filling out the stuff, and then clicking schedule event, right? All of this stuff is stimuli that's trying to get an action out of you, okay? And so I'm at the end of the year, I'm gonna give you a call to action to go to the description, and then in the description there's gonna be a link, and then I'm gonna tell you to click that link, and I'm gonna tell you to book a meeting. And then on Calendly, as you just saw, the stimuli that's going to help you towards the action of booking an appointment, right? And so that's me getting you to go from interest to, using processes to go from interest to appointment. And I guess another part of this is, another part of grabbing your interest is going to be authenticity and like transparency. So I'm hoping that me being transparent and me being authentic and being like, guys, I'm trying to do this and you can do the same thing. I'm hoping that me being authentic and me being transparent is going to result in like the video performing better, more people seeing it, and more people booking more meetings, right? So that's another thing that you can do, another thing that I do, okay? But this is basically what it looks like. The triangle part of this is micro action chains. So it's you looking and seeing, okay, what actions do I want my prospect to take to book a meeting? Like, what do they have to do? So if it's cold calling, they need to, it needs to be the decision maker. They need to be okay with you pitching them. You need to like pitch them well. They need to become interested in it, and then you need to like figure out a time for them to book a call with you. Okay, if you're cold calling, you need to figure out the micro actions that your prospect needs to take, and then you need to invert them, and then kind of flip them, and from that you figure out the micro stimuli that you need to make to elicit the actions. Okay. And then these two is literally what the processes are. It's figuring out what actions you need to take and your prospect needs to take to go from human in your niche to attention, and then attention to interest, and then interest to appointment, right? That's all processes is figuring out what needs to happen and doing it, okay? And so if you come back here, this is literally everything. As I said before, this one word, because when you literally clearly define exactly what micro stimuli chains you need to create to, elicit the actions, it becomes predictable, okay? So if you have a really dialed in cold calling system, you can kind of tell that, let's say, every 100 cold calls I do, I book 4 meetings. And, you know, if there's some fucking idiot, like most people are, who don't have a system, and they just have like some dodgy guru script, they book 1 meeting every 250 cold calls, and they do like 80 cold calls a day, and they change the script like 5 times. They keep on changing the script, they don't do anything. They keep changing the script, they're not using any type of system, they're just like using a rough strategy, and they don't really know what's happening. There's no predictability, there's no scalability. If they keep doing that, there is absolutely no sense of predictability, and you can't scale that, okay? Because the cool thing with a system is that, first of all, the thing you have to understand is garbage in, garbage out, right? If you have shit inputs, you have shit outputs. So if your input is, you want clients, but your input is humans in another niche who like are from Zimbabwe and they have no money, then that's not going to be a good input to elicit the output of getting clients. And I'm not telling you to focus on lead quality, okay? Lead quality is more or less a myth. The only thing you need to do is have people who are in your niche and from the country you want to call, okay? If your input is like gym owners in Canada, and you're in Canada and you're in the gym niche, perfect, that's all you need, okay? So that's first thing, garbage in, garbage out. But then the second cool thing about having a system is that it scales linearly, okay? So let's make it super simple. Let's say that 50 dials equals 1 appointment. So you doing 50 dials equals 1 appointment. Here's the cool thing. With a predictable system where you don't change anything and you have the same inputs, the same processes, 50 dials equals 1 appointment, 500 dials equals 10 appointments. And you see where I'm going. 5,000 dials equals 100 appointments. This is scalable infinitely. Obviously, there's limiting factors like the amount of people in your niche, but it scales linearly. And this is really, really important, okay? You don't want to build a business that's based off of luck. You want to build a business that has predictable, repeatable systems that you can scale pretty easily, okay? The easiest way you can double your monthly recurring revenue is double your inputs, double your cold calls. There's no way to scale without removing the biggest bottleneck, which for you right now could just be the amount of volume that you're putting into your system, okay? And this is so cool. The loser that we were talking about before can do 5,000 dials and they'll book 7 appointments because they're constantly changing, they don't have a system, but you know what works and you just do what works. And so if you do 5,000 dials, you book 100 appointments. And this really is like the power of a system. And this is why I said one word has the potential to change your entire life, okay? Because if you use this properly and you have a system for, booking appointments, and then you use the same framework and you have a system for closing appointments, and you have a system for onboarding, and you have a system for service delivery. If you can systemize everything and assure that everything has predictable results, then what is stopping you from, creating systems for everything? If you can systemize literally everything in your business and you can make sure everything has predictable results, then make a system for everything and you have a predictable path and a scalable path to, if you want to get 100 meetings, that 100 meetings might equal, 20 new clients. You can book 100 meetings because of the system. If you have a system that works here, it's going to work here, okay? All that needs to be done is scaling it, okay? So if you can build a system that works really well on a small scale and you consistently book 3 meetings a day, you can consistently book 10 meetings a day. And so I've rambled on for quite a bit, but I'm sure you can kind of understand this now, okay? There's so many more paths to a system. We just kind of broke down the processes. You need to, garbage in equals garbage out. You need to focus on inputs. And there's super important stuff you have to learn about outputs, like purpose versus function, and metrics, feedback. There's a lot of important stuff, especially with the environment. So for all of this stuff, and everything we've just broken down, if you want me to show you how it actually works in full detail, let me know. And I can make a massive video on systems if that's what you guys want to see. Because, I know that for you, this is what's going to be so important, right? For everybody else who's not watching this, they don't know what this is. You having this, you have a filthy advantage over all of them, okay? And so this, here comes the call to action to get you to book an appointment, right? This is part of, my process to get appointments from YouTube, right? The input is humans in my niche watching YouTube, and the output is appointments, right? And I'm doing this through YouTube. So now we're here, and you're interested in what I have to say, and then I'm going to go through some processes, and then you're going to book a meeting, hopefully, okay? So if you like this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. And the first link in the description, it's got a link to book a call with me to see if you'd be a good fit for my one-to-one stuff. And you got in the one-to-one stuff, you're gonna learn things like this. And we basically legally guarantee that if you don't hit 10K per month in 6 months, we give you a bunch of money to say sorry. Okay, so pretty no-brainer offer. Hopefully this stimuli has elicited the action to book an appointment. And yeah, I'll see you in the appointment. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye bye.